The Alpha Sessions.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Alpha Sessions. My name's Ron Laver, and with me today is from her home in LA is Christie Huff, who's describes herself as a country pop singer. Hello, Christie. How are you today?
Hi, I'm great. How are you? Thanks for having me.
I'm all right, thank you. We've had to arrange this at an ungodly hour for both of us because of the time difference. I'm still working at 7 o'clock in the evening, and you've had to get up at the crack of dawn for, I don't know, what is it, about 11 o'clock your time?
11 a.m. Yes.
Yeah.
Which is early for musicians, you know?
yeah, well, exactly. That's what I was thinking, not great for a musician. So tell me something about yourself, because I've noticed you've been getting some fantastic streaming figures on Spotify, and yet you're a relatively new name to me. So
yes.
Can you tell me a little bit something about your background?
Yeah. So I've been releasing music probably for like the last 7 years or so. But I went to Nashville, right? Like when I was like 17, recorded albums that are no longer they're no longer streamable. But you live and you learn, and I'm really glad that I recorded those 2 albums. But then I took them down, and then like probably since 2019, I've been releasing a new single every 6 to 8 weeks. And I started in 2019 is when I really started to get momentum on streaming platforms. And, since then just been releasing more music, getting more momentum. And the streaming has really helped me because I've been able to connect with more people, and different networks and things like that have found out who I am. So I've gotten more opportunities, and I've, been able to open up for artists that I love, like Toby Keith, Jason Aldean, Billy Currington, Kip Moore, BB Rexa, Dylan Scott, Old Dominion, Scotty McCreery. So I've been, and I'm still, an independent artist doing everything. So really, like, streaming, like you said, has really, I think it's like the best and like the worst time to be an independent artist, because with streaming, like anybody can release music and anybody can get out there, which is great because then we can do it. But then of course there's so many people trying to do the same thing that you're doing. But I've been really just excited about the last, 2-3 years or so, been able to get my name out there, and then have done videos. And I actually was in London right before the pandemic. I performed in England, which was so fun. I hope to come back in March of 2022. So hopefully, but yeah, I'm from Arizona originally and moved out to Los Angeles. And then currently go back and forth between LA and Nashville. So yeah.
LA isn't these days. I mean, I'm old enough to remember when the sort of what do we call it? The West Coast country scene, with people like the Byrds, Chris Hillman, and eventually the Eagles, of course.
Yeah.
But these days, it's not so well known as a sort of country hub. And also Arizona. What was it like growing up in Arizona?
Well, Arizona, it's very, it's very Western. So there's lots of like cowboys and country music is, yes, exactly. So cowboy country, it's very big in Arizona. And, just kind of like the Western influence and things like that. I grew up and I think just in my own family, the love of country music was strong. My parents' first date was a George Strait concert. So we, we grew up listening to country music. And then I'm from the era of when, Taylor Swift, Carrie Underwood, Miranda Lambert came to center. And of course, like Faith Hill. So for me, it's like, I look to powerhouse women artists. And when I was growing up, the powerhouse women artists that I loved were country artists. So that really influenced my love for country music. And also too, just like the story aspect of the songs, you know? So, but yeah, definitely like Arizona. I know people like never think about being like a country hub, but it's very Western, lots of cowboys, horseback riding, rodeos, you know, my backyard we had horses and things like that. So very like Western, not like Southern, but Western, you know?
So it's not that surprising, really, if you get to think about it. But I guess, yeah, Taylor Swift sort of, I mean, some people still deny that she was ever country.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
she's certainly, I think, her influence on the country scene, whether you like it or not,
Yeah.
whether you think she's country or not, it's had a hell of an influence, and in this country as well. Really,
Yeah,
really
especially for like the younger generations, you
yeah.
know? So yeah.
You came to the UK in what, 2020, I guess?
2020, so it's crazy. I was there February 25th to March 5th. So literally, and you know, like lockdown happened like March 11th or 13th or whatever. So literally I was there just in the nick of time, and I'm so glad, because that was a huge highlight of 2020 for me, was being able to go to England. And I performed at the Notting Hill nightclub, and then also the Bedford.
Right. Yeah.
So that was really fun. And then also got to have like a fun vacation with my family. So that was awesome.
So are you planning to come back and see us?
It was all set in stone. And then obviously, I guess in like the last week or so, since the new variant has come to light, we're just kind of playing it by ear again. But I really hope that it can make it over, because I love coming to the UK. And it's amazing that I found that there's like a strong love for country music over in England. And yeah, so I hope it works out. I hope we can go.
You're going to sing some music for us today, and the first track I wanted to talk to you about was which is your current single, I think, Don't Wanna Know.
Yes.
That's, I mean, it's been out a little while, hasn't it? It was, I think, released in September.
Yes. So this is a song that I wrote and collaborated with two of my songwriter friends in LA. I've collaborated with them on another song of mine called Halfway Fell. But this song we wrote together, I think in 2019. And you know, I love writing with them. Their name is Anna Schulze and Haley Bowers. Because whenever we get together, we're friends. So we talk, and then we end up writing songs about what we were just talking about, what we were feeling. So at the time I was going through, it's when two of us were actually going through a breakup, and kind of like the aftermath of like a breakup. And, you know, I was like saying like, oh, I know like my ex is now like with somebody else. And like, I don't want to know like what he's up to, but at the same time, I like don't have it in me to like unfollow, you know what I mean? And like not
you don't want to know, but you do.
But I do, exactly. So that is kind of how that song came about, is like, you know, I think we've all been there in that time where we're broken up with somebody, and the time really does eventually come where one of the two people in the relationship moves on. And when you're not the first person to move on, like me, then it's like, I don't even want to know what she likes about you. I don't even want to know like all of these things that I know about you. Like, what does she think about? You know what I mean? So that is kind of where the inspiration came for that song. And it was really fun. You know, Anna Schulze, one of my co-writers on it, she produced it. And I love working with her because she is like, she does more pop production, but I love working with pop producers on country music because they come into it from a different angle. And I love working with them and with Anna as a producer, because I think she brings something kind of fresh to a country vibe. So that was kind of like how that, you know, that song came about. And You know, I'm so happy that it's finally out. I was kind of sitting on it for a while because, you know, like how it goes, it's like, I've been releasing singles and it's like, you know, I always am writing and I'm always constantly producing. So then sometimes things, I'm like, oh, well, one would be good right now. And then this, you know, so things just kind of come out, not always when right after you write them, you know? So it's kind of fun for me being on the opposite side of the feeling of from when I wrote that song. And I'm now in like a new happy relationship. And now it's kind of, it's like interesting. Like people are like, oh man, like, are you going through something? And I was like, well, not anymore, you know?
I don't wanna know that you broke your heart too. I don't wanna know who you found to fix you. I don't wanna hear from a friend of a friend that you miss me, but you're kissing her. Well then, I don't wanna know more than I'm supposed to. But are you giving it your best? Did it matter less to you? What's the matter with this feeling in my chest? Did it make a mess of you? Or is it just me spinning now backwards, sideways, out of control? Or is it just me sitting with everything I don't wanna know? I don't wanna know what she likes about you. That you go to bed late and you hate the morning, and you call it grace, really you're just proud. Then you question change and you just you down. I don't wanna know what I already know now. That you're giving it your best and it matter less to you. What's the matter with this feeling in my chest? Did it make a mess of you? Or is it just me spinning now backwards, sideways, out of control? Or is it just me sitting with everything I don't wanna know? I already know more than I'm supposed to. What's the matter with this? I already know more than I'm supposed to. Was I second best? I already know more than I'm supposed to. I don't wanna know, I don't wanna know, I don't. I already know more than I'm supposed to.
The Alpha Sessions with Ron Laver.
I wanted to change the subject a little bit now. It's something that interests me because I, like you, am dyslexic. And
Yeah.
I've heard you talk about it. And I know you have a podcast as well, don't you?
Yes.
Talking about dyslexia and,
Mhm.
and you know, the problems it brings. And well, tell us about your sort of experience with dyslexia.
So I was diagnosed with dyslexia when I was about 7 years old because I have 3 sisters, 2 older sisters, 1 little sister. And unlike them, me at that age, I could not write my name. I could not read or write or anything like that. And I didn't know my ABCs or anything like that. So my parents were like, I want to go like get this checked out. And, you know, we eventually found out that I'm dyslexic and, you know, my journey, and I'm sure like you can relate. And I mean, I'm so interested in like hearing your story as well, but, you know, it taught me that things never come easy. And it also taught me that like, you know, I know what it's like to study for a test all night for hours. And for me, the way that dyslexia affects me and doing the podcast, I learned that, it does affect people a little bit differently. Everybody I've talked to, it's kind of different. But it's really hard for me to like comprehend information. I can read, like, I can somewhat like read a sentence for you and not sound completely like, you know, it's not like I can't read it completely, but I can't always tell you what I just read, you know? So for me, you know, it was very frustrating growing up, and, you know, I would spend hours and hours studying, and I know what it's like to study for a test all night and prepare all that you can and still fail. And I think that is a very valuable lesson that I've learned in life. And especially with the career path that I'm on, is that, you know, you don't always get from something what you put into it. And that's just life, and that's just reality. Doesn't mean you don't get things back and have successes and things like that. But I think it's a valuable lesson to know, like with music, you know, I'm putting in the time, putting in the effort. I have my goals that I have in my career, but I'm also happy knowing that this is a journey, and I'm on a journey, and that is I guess, you know, the dream of it all. And I really do like think that me having my learning disability has taught me that in my life. I think it really helped me make the decision to pursue music and to sing. I don't know if I would be doing this career if I didn't have dyslexia. I come from a family, both my parents are doctors, my little sister's in medical school, my older sister's in, like, everybody in my family is really well educated in the medical field. And for me, that just wasn't going to happen. And what I turned to growing up to kind of get my self-esteem, because it does affect your self-esteem, as you know, you can probably relate, is I turned to music and I turned to singing. And for me, I was a good singer growing up. That is what I was good at. And that is what brought me my confidence. And then I started writing songs to let out the emotion that I was feeling growing up when I didn't feel, you know, good enough and things like that. And that kind of helped me be able to tell a story when writing. So yeah, I don't know. I attribute a lot to my dyslexia of like who I am as a person. Yeah, I don't know. And I'm glad that I was able to do, you know, a big thing that I am very passionate about is, you know, wanting to let people know what a learning disability is and how it really does affect you. Because for me, it would always be really frustrating when I'd be like, oh, I'm dyslexic, or people like make fun of, oh, I had a dyslexic moment. And I'm like, no, but you don't even understand like everything that goes into it, you know? And for me, my goal with the podcast was to highlight and tell the stories of other people and myself, and kind of get more information about learning disabilities in general, to share it with people so that they understand, and you're not too quick to judge other people and what they're going through. And yeah, so things like that.
And I think that's really great that you did the podcast. So let's give it a plug. I mean, what's the podcast called?
Yes, the podcast is called Determined to Dream, the Dyslexia Awareness Podcast. And you guys can find it wherever you listen to podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you listen. So yeah, go listen. It's an 8-episode podcast series, and I interview different people who also struggle with dyslexia, as well as a child psychologist who's he's involved in testing kids. And then I also, it was cool because I got to interview, I was in special ed classes for a little bit growing up, and I got to interview my special education coordinator. And I attribute so much to her for my success in school growing up. And, you know, we talk about that, and we also talk about, you know, from my own experience and other people's experience, how the education system has a lot to improve on, at least especially in the US when it comes to kids with learning disabilities. So we kind of like touched on that. And yeah, so it was really, and I also got to interview my parents because they played a really important key for me and then getting me diagnosed, because a lot of times there's so many people out there who aren't even diagnosed, you know, because it does take teachers and parents and a whole team of people to really put that effort into diagnosing you. And then also after you are diagnosed to like support you and get the accommodations that you need. Like for me, like I needed extra time on tests.
Yeah.
And I needed somebody to read to me so that they could explain to me what the question was asking. Because if I knew what the question was asking and then had the time to answer it properly, I was able to do it. But half the time before, you know, like I tried to like be in classes without the accommodations because I felt like stupid to have them.
Yeah.
Then I did worse, you know? So it's also realizing these accommodations are here for you to help you to be able to even to be able to take the same test that person's taking with it being timed and all that, you know?
Yeah.
So
that's and that's a really interesting thing, to be able to read a question and not understand it. You know, you can read all the words, you know what all the words mean, but not like, get the sense of it. And of course, in the exam situation, you're reading it fast anyway, your brain's going, and I don't know what they're asking. I don't know what
exactly.
To have someone say to you, look, the question is saying
this.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, I've got it.
No. Yeah.
Okay, we'll move on.
No, it's always fun. I always like talking to people. It's very interesting. And it's cool to hear like your story a little bit, you know? Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Let's have another track from you now. Tell me about the track called Blow Off Steam.
Yes.
What's the story behind that? It sounds like, was this a sort of I've had enough of this sort of thing?
Kind of, yes. I wrote it in quarantine, and this was like in the midst of quarantine, and I was in LA the whole entire time, and it was, I mean, honestly, for probably like 6 to 8 months. I don't know, maybe it wasn't that long. It seemed like it was that long. It was completely like shut down here. So everybody was just like, I was at home 24/7. And I was just kind of feeling like I was trapped in my house, and I quite literally needed to blow off steam, but I like couldn't go out anywhere or do it. So the way that I do it is write songs about it. So that's kind of how Blow Off Steam came about. And I'm really excited about that song. It was my, like, I guess the best like streamed song of my 2021 song. So I'm happy because it came from a place of, you know, just like being in quarantine, which I feel like was so, you know, everybody was feeling it in some way. So yeah.
Boy, I ain't playing, just sing the off some steam.
The Alpha Sessions with Ron Laver.
Presumably, during quarantine, you got involved in live streams,
Yeah.
as most artists did. Was that something you enjoyed doing?
Yes, actually, I did. It's funny if I could go back to quarantine and somebody could tell me like the end date of it, I think I would have enjoyed it a lot more, because I really did like, in 2019 and all up until then, I was constantly on the move, constantly traveling, constantly doing shows. So it was kind of nice to be able to still connect with people right here. I mean, I'm in my kitchen right now, and I felt like I was still giving my music, having my music be heard by new people, different people, in being able to like connect on a level like this too. It was like really cool to have like interviews with people like this. Was really fun. But yeah, I did a lot of live streams. Just for me, it was like a way to stay, connected to people, and also to keep my chops up too. Like playing live is a lot different than just like playing in my bedroom by myself, So I really enjoyed the live stream. So, I mean, of course, I'm so glad and thankful that we're back to like live in-person shows, but it's kind of fun to keep both going a little bit,
Well, that was my sort of next question, really.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's gonna we've got that now, and it's something we'll see, it will continue?
I think so. I think it's beneficial on a lot of other levels that come together, like, with performing live and streaming, because, you collaborate with different people's followings. So it helps your social media. And then also too, I just think, hopefully we're on the outskirts of the pandemic, but I think who knows? So I think that we'll kind of keep it going if and whenever we need it, So I think it's, for me, the way that I see it, it's like important to keep those ties and those connections, and that, keep it going, because I mean, my like Instagram, slowly but surely, but it grew quite a bit because of my like Instagram live streams and things like that, So I think that it's beneficial for sure.
And I think there's always, well, that in latter years, there's always been YouTube videos, and if you're looking, oh, that sounds, is this something I'm going to like? Is this someone I'm going to want to see live? And you can always go to YouTube, and there were always live versions. But what's nice about a stream is, well, you get a bit more personality of the person, because inevitably you tell the story of the song. If there's two or three of you on a stream, you chat, and you
people can like
stories.
ask questions in the comments,
And I think the audience find that engaging.
I mean, we're all at home. I mean, even though now we're going out more, I mean, for me, there's always like a period of time where I'm like sitting on my couch before I go to bed looking at videos, so it's like whether you're watching it live or rewatching a video, it's fun. It's you're seeing your favorite artist in a different capacity,
Absolutely. Okay, well, look, it's been really nice talking to you today.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
You're more than welcome. And if you do manage to get over to London in the not too distant future, we're in North London, and it would be great to have you come out and do a session for us one afternoon or one day.
I would love that. No, I will. I'll keep you guys posted.
Yeah, well,
I hope that it happens. I hope that I'm able to come out, but I'll keep you guys posted, because that'd be so much fun.
Yeah, well, you know how to get hold of us, so do, and and it would be nice to come and see you live as well.
I'll let you know.
Okay, well, one more song before you go. This one, I understand, is going to be a single in the not too distant future. Track called Flown.
Yes.
The perfume, not the place. When is that due out? Do you know at this stage?
I already have my first 2 releases scheduled for 2022. So this one will probably be my 3rd release in March or April. So stay tuned.
So this is a real advance exclusive, isn't it?
A real advance. I know. I just got the mix back, so I'm like, oh, I want to play Cologne, which I'm like, I have 2 other songs coming out before Cologne, but now you guys get a sneak peek.
That's great. Tell us about it. What's the song about?
Yes. So this song, you know, it's just kind of about if you're like seeing somebody and it's the beginning stages of a relationship. I wrote the song because I was like, I just had started to date my now boyfriend and we didn't know what we were, but I was kind of like, man, whenever he's gone, like I miss him. Like I miss his smell, like the smell of his cologne. Like I want him to come over, like come back, you know? And it's kind of like, I guess like a little flirty song of being like every time you leave, like your cologne, the smell of your cologne goes away. So I need you to come back because I need another like whiff of the smell. So kind of, you know, like that. So I'm really happy about how the song turned out production wise. So I'm excited for you guys to listen.
You know, you could have always asked him to leave you a bottle of his cologne.
No, I know, like, hey, and then I just realized maybe I just like literally the smell of his cologne.
I guess that wasn't the point, but
yeah. No.
Well, look, it's been great talking to you. I wish you all the luck, you know, with Cologne and the singles that come before that in the future, and look forward to hopefully seeing you in London sometime.
Yes, I know. Hopefully soon. If not March, I think hopefully by the summer. So for sure in 2022, hopefully. So I'll keep you posted.
Okay, Christie, it's really nice of you to chat with us today. Take care.
Thank you for having me.
Bye now.
Bye.
It's not that I'm needy, it's just that I'm needing something that lingers when you're gone. Oh, that fresh, clean smell brings me back to last night's memory of you holding on to me till dawn. And the trace of you starts to fade away. So come over, come over. I got the house alone. Get closer to me. You should know you need a show up at my door since gone cold. And baby, every time you go, I miss the smell of your cologne. I miss the smell of your cologne. You get me? It's crazy. We're on the same wavelength, and I know you're feeling this way too. There's no reason not to close this distance and for you to cloud on my